I was muted. Ha! Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to Energize Delaware Live. My name is Angie Bivens, and I am an energy advisor with a few of Energize Delaware's residential programs. So, hi, and good afternoon. We have a great topic on today, one that I have been looking forward to for months. But before we get into that, first and foremost, we have to start off with our usual conversation. I want to say hello to any new viewers that we might have watching on today. And I want to welcome back any of our longtime faves who have been watching continuously. So thanks for tuning in today. We do have a guest speaker that will be coming on shortly to talk about community solar. But before we get to that, if this is your first time, welcome. And let me just tell you a little bit about Energize Delaware. So Energize Delaware is a nonprofit organization, and we've got over 16 programs all around energy efficiency and providing renewable energy and energy services to Delawareans, hence the name Energize Delaware. So again, like I said, on today, we have a great topic. But if you want to know about anything else dealing with energy efficiency or resources available in the state for energy efficiency, making any building type better, then you definitely want to reach out to us. And you can always reach us at our toll-free number of 877-524-1339, or you're welcome to check us out right on our website at www.energizedelaware.org. So with all of that being said, let's get into some great information on today. So at this time, I am so happy to welcome to the screen Dustyn Thompson. Dustyn is the Volunteer Community Outreach Coordinator with the Sierra Club Delaware Chapter. Good afternoon, Dustyn.
Good afternoon. How we doing?
I'm really good. What about you?
Rocking and rolling, keeping that dream alive.
I know that's right. Here we go. So first and foremost, let me say thank you, Dustyn, for agreeing to come on and talk about community solar, which is becoming a huge topic, not just in our state, but across the nation. So I thought it was a really good idea to get a subject matter expert to come on and tell us more about it. So let's just go ahead and kick it off. I'm going to ask you to tell our audience a little bit more about what is community solar.
Yeah, great. And thanks for having me. So community solar is the way we bring equity and access to solar power. And that's what it's done in states across the nation. For many people, for many reasons, we can't access solar on our rooftops or ground mounts, right? So you have a high percentage of renters in Delaware, people that otherwise don't own their roofs, people that live in condos. You also have folks that have flat roofs and can't install them because they're in townhouses or row houses. So, or the economics just doesn't work. There are a lot of reasons why, although, with the Green Energy Fund here in Delaware, we can make it super affordable and Energize Delaware can get you through the process to get solar. But, for whatever reason, you don't want solar on your roof or you can't get solar on your roof. Community solar is how you can still get the benefit. So you get cheaper electricity. So you get a discount on your electric bill every month. You're helping save the planet, and you're helping support your community with more green jobs. So wins all around.
Awesome. Well, you, in that brief little bit, have touched on many things that we need to dive deeper into. So let's get into this a bit more. And I just do want to mention, anybody watching, feel free to put any questions you might have in the comment or chat area, and we will do our best to answer these. And if you watch this after it's live, you can still leave us a comment or a question, and we will get back to you. So digging more into community solar, what does the term community mean in community solar?
Yeah, just for those watching, don't wait for me to stop talking to ask your question or it's never going to get asked. So, community and community solar can mean a number of different things. A lot of people hear community and they think more like a neighborhood, right? they think of their community, their neighborhood, or their civic community, or however you want to break that down. And it can mean that, right? So a neighborhood could get together, or just a few neighbors could get together and either share their collective roof space or an open space that is preserved in the community. You could install a project that everybody in that neighborhood, or however you divide the community, can benefit from, right? You can all draw power from that. But generally in states around the nation, community solar is pretty broad, and the community is just whoever wants to participate, right? It's a community in terms of, for us, Delmarva ratepayers, right? So anybody in Delmarva who has Delmarva for their electric, once these projects get underway, you'll be able to have a variety of options to purchase community solar. So community can be very specific or very broad.
Nice. So really good to know, because you hit the nail on the head. Community, for me, I automatically was like, oh, well, what is it, like everybody within a 4-block radius or something like that? But that's good to know. So it's just basically any group of people that's willing to share that grid or that solar space.
Yeah, and some faith communities have also, churches or synagogues or mosques or what have you will have pretty good roof space, or sometimes open space that they have on their property. That's just undeveloped land. We don't want anybody chopping down any trees, but if you got a big plot of open land, right, you could put solar there for your parishioners. Or you could serve low-income communities with your community solar. So you see that happen a lot too.
Nice. I like it. It's getting me hyped. So I think you might have said some of these things earlier, but I wanted to hear them again because it sounded so good. What are the benefits? Now, community solar, I think you and I might have touched on it before, but it seems like is it more so for low income, or is this open to anyone?
Yeah, so the program is open to anybody. But that being said, when we were going through the process, the question was all about equity and access, right? How do we use community solar in Delaware to solve that equity and access issue that we have? A lot of people that install solar are people that can afford to install solar. And so, it's great that they're going green and they're reducing their energy burden and their reliance on, fossil fuel based energy. But that's not realistic for folks that are renting, that live in low income housing, or that don't have the money to front for solar installation. So there's a huge barrier in equity in solar. And so the whole time we're developing this program, it's how can we use this to help solve that and guarantee that it helps with that issue. And so when we looked at low income, it's how can we guarantee that low income folks will be able to participate in this program and get these benefits, and how do we remove as many burdens as possible for them to participate in as many ways as possible. So we required in Delaware that every single project has to have 15% of the power going to low-income subscribers, to low-income communities. And so, you saw in some other states that they'd have, separate buckets, so to speak. And so you'd have like a, brownfield and rooftop, and then you'd have this low-income bucket. And the low-income bucket never got touched. And when it did, the projects often fell through. And so there really wasn't any benefit for low-income communities. And so we didn't want to do that. If the question is, how can you make it happen as quickly as possible to help relieve the energy burden on these folks, it's made sense to make sure that every single project had to have low-income subscribers on board. And when you're trying to get low-income subscribers, who often get a steeper discount, if you look at what happens in other states, if you are low income, they'll try to sweeten the deal by giving you a higher discount on your electric bill. to help them meet that requirement, right? That 15%.
Right.
And so how can we make sure it's as easy as possible for those folks to get the benefits? We don't want them to have to jump through a million hoops that nobody else has to jump through. We don't want them to have W-2s and 1099s and all these, tax forms and all this, administrative burden, right?
Right.
They should be, all right, you're already on Medicaid or SNAP or you got, childcare help or, whatever, LIHEAP, weatherization program, any of these social assistance programs, you're on that, you're good. You live in a census block, which is, pretty small, but you live in a census block that is predominantly low income, or you live in low income housing, all that, you're good. You don't need any more proof that anybody else doesn't have to give. So it was every step of the way was, how do we make sure that folks can benefit?
That is appreciated. So I can tell you, working with the lower income community, it's a challenge. Energy burdens are real. It's one thing to have a $200 electric bill when you make, thousands of dollars a month, but it's different when you make just a few $100s a month. So I am so glad to hear that. So digging into that a little bit more, and you might have said some of them, but what are some of the benefits that low income families and individuals could get out of this program?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of kind of ancillary things, right? I mean, of course, number one, you save money on your electric bill, right? Like community solar, the way it's going to operate in Delmarva territory. Now there's 3 utilities. I should kind of back up a minute. There are 3 utilities in Delaware: Delmarva, the Delaware Electric Co-op, and the Delaware Municipal Electric Corporation. And so we're only talking about Delmarva. DEC, the co-op, and DMEC, the municipal corporation, they already have community solar. Now you pay I think $5 or $10 more a month to participate in it, but because they already had a program of their own and they're not regulated by the state, we kind of focused on Delmarva that didn't have anything, no option available, and those other ones are working on low income options as well, but I'll let them cover that. So so you're guaranteed a savings. That's how we're making it work in Delmarva territory. So you're not paying extra to participate, which if folks, choose a third party supplier right now and, to get clean energy, you pay more, right? Like I pay more. This is a discount on your bill every month, guaranteed. And so reducing your energy burden, number one. But what we're trying to do is make sure that we're tying programs together, right? Y'all got some great programming. DENREC's got some great programming, right, on energy efficiency and weatherization and all these other great things, energy audits. So how can we get community solar, the folks that subscribe to that, particularly low income folks, into these other programs that we know they're going to qualify for, right? So It just makes sense to connect those things. So we're trying to stack those benefits, particularly for low income subscribers, right? So that's another benefit. You get plugged into these other areas probably, when we get that set up. But as I said before, there's kind of ancillary benefits, right? There are a lot of, and I know we're getting more into this later, but there are a lot of kind of jobs that come with community solar. And when we were doing the regulations, we wanted to make sure that everybody had equal opportunity to get into these jobs that need jobs, particularly right now. So we're not requiring extraordinary background checks that if you did, you had a possession charge 30 years ago, now you can't work in this field, right? So we made sure that that wasn't the case, that folks that, have done their time and paid their dues can have just as much access to employment in these areas as anybody else. And so there can also be, job opportunities for those folks.
I don't know if anybody else watching this is getting as excited as me. Energy equity makes me too happy. I'm sorry. But awesome. So you've kind of been covering what's going on in Delaware, the program that's coming up. So let me go back. We're going to definitely come back to the jobs in a moment because that's exciting as well. But before we jump there, let me go back to the program for just a little bit. So what do you guys see as the qualifications being for this program? Because I'm sure somebody is listening, they're hearing this, and they're starting to try to figure out where they would fit or if they could fit. Because this sounds really good. I know it's really good, but it sounds really good. So what are the qualifications if someone is interested?
Yeah. So, well, it's kind of two parts, right? There's the opportunity to create a project, right, and be a part of it that way. But then there's the opportunity to, sorry, my computer's trying to update. There's the opportunity to just save money on your electric bill, right? Which is, I mean, that's a great, that's where I fit in. So, so I'll talk about that too. So in terms of getting into a community solar program, so for those that do the third party electric supply, right, that you tell Delmarva, like, no, I don't want natural gas, power coming to my house. I want, wind or solar or whatever. Then you're kind of a little bit already familiar with how this is going to work out, right? You contacted that supplier and said, hey, I want my power. Here's my account number. I want my power to be clean. You work with Delmarva and make that happen. I mean, that's kind of it, right? It's same sort of thing. So there will be community solar projects. We're seeing a lot of excitement from the industry because we've been working. I have not been working. I've been working on this for about 2 years, but the industry has been working on this for about, I don't know, probably 10, 11 years. So it's been a long time coming. A lot of them have kind of had given up, right? And then Senator Hansen and a dedicated group made it happen. And so there's a lot of energy and a lot of community solar projects just chomping at the bit to get started. And so you're going to have plenty of options. So you shop around, right? Find the option that you like the most. Maybe one has a better discount than the other one, or what have you. Or maybe one has a job program for low income communities or something like you want some societal benefit you want to help out. So you find that one, you talk to them, usually online, right? You sign up, and then they talk to Delmarva, and then you start seeing a credit on your bill, on your Delmarva bill. And so, there's, in terms of qualifications, you live in Delaware, you live in Delmarva territory, which is most of Newcastle County, except for some of the municipalities, and that's about it. Now, if it's low income, it's the same. To get those better discounts, it's the same as most social assistance programs, same as LIHEAP, same as Energize Delaware's programs. It's the same qualifications. So, we wanted to make sure that it was actually low income people because, again, they usually get better discounts, and we want to make sure that the program's going to help those specific people. Other states do moderate income, right? Which is, I'm technically moderate income. I don't need help. You don't need to find me. I'll find you. I'm going to sign up, right? I'm good. You don't need to worry about me. But low income folks tend to have less access to internet and broadband. They tend to be harder to reach and a lot more skeptical about things because they get taken advantage of all the time.
Agreed.
And so, the goal was really, how do you make sure there's educational programming and outreach specifically to those folks? And so, and how do we make it as easy as possible for them to qualify? And so, and that's what we've done. I mean, the regs have to pass, right? They're in front of the Public Service Commission right now, as of yesterday. But the journey is looking good so far.
That's what we like to hear. So, just sticking with that topic for a minute, you said something that I was curious about. So, are there going to be any specific qualifications if somebody wants to start a project? Like, what would, like, if they said, I'd like to start community solar here in my community, what would they need to look for in that instance?
Yeah. So a lot of times community solar, like folks from the community solar industry, like Turning Point or Arcadia, there's, Neighborhood Sun, there's a lot of different companies that do community solar. They'll work with you to get you through the process. I mean, you don't have to be a lawyer or some kind of land use attorney to be able to do this. If your community, your civic, your neighborhood, your faith community is interested in creating a project, normally the avenue would be you reach out to one of these project developers,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll get you there. Now, depending on the size, that kind of dictates how it all shakes out in terms of finances. But bigger tends to be better. But there are certainly projects that are faith community sized that that fit on the roof of the church, synagogue, mosque, what have you, that still save people money. So what we really want to see is maybe, not to throw y'all into the fire, but maybe Energize Delaware can help walk people through that, just like that you guys do through regular solar. So fingers crossed, maybe we can work together on that.
Hey, there is a conversation to be had. Anytime we can be assisting people, we definitely want to hear about that. So yeah, we'll have a sidebar conversation. Yeah. Thanks, Dustyn. Look, you didn't throw us under the bus just yet. So with that being said, though, now let's pull it back to a part of the conversation I have been itching to get to. I want to know more about how this could affect our job market here in Delaware. So there, everybody is hiring, it feels like right now, but apparently the workforce is also having a problem. But for some people, they're having a problem with finding something that, is within the income they need, within the background they have. So what is this going to do to our job market in Delaware?
Yeah, I mean, if you just have to look elsewhere to know, kind of easily predict what's going to happen. You look at Minnesota, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, California, the states that have Connecticut as well. So even some smaller states that have good community solar programs. And you could just compare the number of jobs in the solar industry, which is more expansive than kind of people might think. And the number is what, we have about 500 or so here. But you look at some of these other states, thousands, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 jobs in the solar industry. And it's not just, building the project. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Right? Obviously you got to have people to build the project. But you also need electricians, right, to help wire the project. You need marketers to help market the project. You need folks doing finances. I mean, there's a lot of kind of ancillary and tertiary jobs that come with this. And the hope is we'll actually start manufacturing some of these products here in Delaware again. So we used to manufacturing some of the brackets and things like that. I don't believe we ever manufacture actual panels, but we can get, hopefully get back to that point where we start seeing some of that industry come back here for those construction and manufacturing jobs as well, which you do see in other states. So there's a lot of opportunity. And I would say, you kind of hit the nail on the head that there's some folks out there that don't know how they fit into a particular sector with the skills that they already have. And some folks that they have skills and they're tired of using them, right? They want to do something different. And I would say that, now really the past year or so has been the time to get new skills, right? We're all kind of at home and, all that sort of stuff. So there's some pretty exciting stuff that has happened in Delaware in the past year and a half. That was good news. I mean, there's been exciting stuff. Obviously, it's been bad news bears, but we've had some good news too.
Right.
I mean, particularly in this front. So during the General Assembly last year, or the legislative session last year, the General Assembly passed legislation to expand tuition-free college in Delaware in a significant way. So we had the SEED program, Student Excellence Equals Degree, SEED. We've had that program for a number of years now. Senator McDowell, who retired, who was also the kind of the solar guru, created that program a number of years ago. But basically, you could take a year off, but more or less, you had to go from high school to college, right? You had to go high school to Del Tech and earn a degree in 2 years. And you got tuition-free school as long as you had good grades in high school. You went to Delaware High School, you got good grades, you get to go to Del Tech basically for free. But, there's a lot of folks, especially right now, right, that are looking for those new skills or looking for that next job, need that certificate or some, 2-year degree, that they've never been able to access that. And now even more than ever, you have economic turmoil in families, right, in Delaware.
Yeah.
And so now more than ever, we need, societal benefit programs like tuition-free college, right, for everybody to be able to access. And so what they did is said, you know what, if you went to a Delaware high school, you're good. Tuition-free college. So now, basically you went into a Delaware high school, you graduated, 15 years ago, whatever, you can go back to Del Tech and get a 2-year degree or get a certificate, tuition-free. And so that means you could get into one of these industries, right? You could get a certificate in finances or marketing, or you can start getting through the electrician program, or they have several solar-based degrees there at Del Tech now, and so that's exciting. So you can go directly into this, right? And so, but they went even further than that, because that wasn't good enough, right? Now you can keep going and still get discounts on your tuition at University of Delaware, or you could go to Del State University as well through the Inspire program. And so, we expanded kind of exponentially the access into green jobs, into jobs of the future, by opening these doors to folks that couldn't participate before. So, I encourage everybody. Community solar is going to be big. I mean, there's no way to walk it back now, right?
Right.
It's gonna take off, and you want to get on that train early, right? So you're looking at, about a year from now, you'll start to see these projects come online, and start to see a lot of, marketing material, trying to get people involved, get engaged, educational campaigns about what community solar is. You guys are getting the jump on that one. So, start looking into seed now. If you already have a bachelor's, right, see if you can up that, or see if you can get a certificate to help slide you in to this budding industry, because it's going to be where it's at for a number of years.
Yeah, so and I'm so glad you brought all this information along with the educational piece into community solar. One of the questions I get asked often, people ask me, how'd you get into what you do? And I love being able to say that the field is just wide open. I brought a skill set not related to, green or conservation. And I just got over here, and I mean, who doesn't need to learn how to conserve energy? Just being honest, we all live in homes. So once I got over here, I brought my skill set, and it was able to be used. So thank you for sharing that, because I want to encourage anybody watching that, if you are not sure what to do, if you're thinking about a new job, seed is now even more available, which is amazing and great to hear. So take the opportunity, go back and get your education, and then why not bring it into the green field, right? And to go along with what you were saying earlier, just to remind everyone, this field is lacked a little better with background. So if you had things happen in your past that have kept you from getting other jobs, this is an amazing field where, depending on what you did, it might limit where you can go, but there are still places for you that are good paying jobs. So everybody should rush out right now and start looking into the seed program. Hopefully Del Tech hits me up. They're going to be like, oh, we got a bunch more people thanks to y'all. Wonderful. All right. So there's been just so much information here, but I want to make sure that we didn't forget anything. So I think we pretty much covered everything we had set out to cover. But as a last, before we close out, first, I'm going to point out, thank you to Jim, who's been on and listening. He left some comments for us. He just agreed with everything. And he also is excited about solar coming to the underserved communities, because later on, for those that are curious, later this year, Jim Purcell is going to be back from the Empowerment Grant, and he'll be talking about the Energy Equity Fund, which is something new, and he's been gently mentioning all over the place. So we're looking forward to what that can do, coupled with this, coupled with the new jobs. Woo! Delaware next year is going to be the place to be. I'm just telling y'all that. All right. So before we close out, though, Dustyn, is there anything else, whether it be about community solar, the Sierra Club, any other information you want to leave for our audience today?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things. Delaware is one of those places of best kept secrets, right? We have all these really great programs that nobody knows about. And, seed expansion is a great one, right? How many people out there didn't know that happened, right? We should be like screaming it from the rooftops that Delaware has tuition-free college for folks, right? Like, it's crazy. Like, we should be screaming this. So what I want to say is don't let community solar be one of those programs, right? When this starts getting on, if you get plugged into a community solar project, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbors. Like, you gotta, spread the word on this kind of stuff, because you're gonna save money, you're gonna save your neighbors money, and you're gonna help fight climate change, right? You're investing in green jobs, you're investing in Delaware, but you're investing in your future, right? In my child's future, and your kids or grandkids' future, right? So shout it from the rooftop. When this happens, tell everybody. Don't let this be another best kept secret. And the other thing I wanted to say is, huge shout out to Senator Hansen, all the folks on the RPS coalition that Sierra Club helped spearhead last year or last couple of years. Shout out to the legacy of Senator McDowell, who started Energize Delaware, right? Started SEED, started on community solar, right? I mean, there's so many people out there that have fought so hard for so many years to help make this happen. So, and I was blessed to be a part of that. I'm just so thankful, and thank you for sharing your space. If you want to join us on September 22nd, we're recognizing Senator Hansen, outdoor, socially distanced. You gotta, have to have proof of vaccination, and you gotta wear a mask. But we're getting together to honor the work that she's done over the last year for community solar, for the renewable energy sector. Check out the Sierra Club .org/Delaware for that event. Will be going up later today. So check that out, and if you're able to join to honor the great work that she did, we'd love to have you. So.
Well, I'm definitely going to follow up with you myself to get that information so I can try to be there too. I like to be that positive energy in the room. So if you ever hear anybody scream in a meeting with a mask on, it's probably me. So I was going to ask you lastly, if anyone has any additional questions about community solar, can they reach out to you via your email?
100%. Yeah.
Awesome.
Anytime you want to nerd out or geek out or have questions on energy policy, hit me up.
All right, great. Because you didn't know, but I just slapped your email right down there. So if anybody has any specific questions about community solar, or maybe you want to also attend the event that Dustyn was just talking about, feel free to send Dustyn an email, and he is great about getting back with you. Let me tell you.
I'm a millennial. My phone's always on me, so
I know. So that would be a whole nother conversation, because I was just talking to somebody because they called me and I was like, why? You could have emailed or text. And they were like, AG. I'm learning. It's hard to break some of these habits. But again, one more time, if anybody has any questions about it, you're definitely welcome to email Dustyn. And Dustyn, if you don't mind, can you give the web address for the Sierra Club again?
Yep. So it's just sierraclub.org/Delaware. Nice and easy.
Don't get no easier than that. Well, awesome. All right. So the last thing I want to say for the day is I want to thank Dustyn again for coming on. I want to thank the Sierra Club for, encouraging you and allowing you to come on today. Anyone that's had any part in community solar, I echo everything that Dustyn said. Thank you to anybody who put in any work, because as we've stated, this is going to have some great benefits in our state. So we're looking forward to that. And who knows? We'll probably bring Dustyn back and talk a little bit more about it once it gets up and going. So
live, we'll go out and we'll check one out.
Gotta hope nobody ever screenshots that. But I really did get excited. Yes, let's do one live from a community solar field. Oh, or roof. I'm not getting on the roof, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So awesome. To all of our viewers, thank you for tuning in. I'm sure some questions, things have come out of it. You are also welcome to email Energize Delaware. You're welcome to put anything in the comment area that you like, and we will get back with you. So don't forget, tune in again first Thursday of October, we're going to have Delmarva Power on with me, and we're going to talk about some resources for energy assistance, right? Dustyn said a minute ago, there are too many best kept secrets in Delaware, and energy assistance should never be a secret. We want to make sure that everybody knows about the resources that are available out there, because next month is National Energy Awareness Month. Yep, I'm gonna go out and get my light bulb costume. But we're gonna have a great time next month. So you definitely want to keep your eyes peeled on Energize Delaware's Facebook, on our Instagram, on our YouTube. Go subscribe if you haven't. And then again, tune in on October 7th as we come back again. So thank you, Dustyn. Thank you to all of our viewers, and we look forward to doing this again. So to everybody, I say, have a great day and happy energy savings. Bye-bye, everybody.